Welcome to the Game of Investing podcast. This is Sandeep Anand. There is heightened uncertainty in the globe today with tariffs being published, and there is an economic warfare which is happening between the large economies like United States, China, Middle East, and Russia to a great extent. There is a heightened uncertainty due to these the turbulences are created in the stock market. Indices across the globe have crashed. The global stock market is correcting big time, and United States especially has corrected recently. The indices falling anywhere between 20 to 30% depending on the stocks and indices you look at. So when there is heightened uncertainty and economic warfare that's going on, there is an opportunity in the crisis. And that opportunity is what is created because of these heightened tensions and economic warfare that's going on between the countries, which is a new regime of warfare. I mean, in the next decade, foreseeable future, this is going to be the new type of war. And in that kind of a war, there is one area which is gaining prominence. In the last 2 months, if you see, the amount of cyber attacks that has happened is gone exponential. It could be mainly due to the AI, rapid adoption of AI by the large enterprises and large sovereign economies like United States, Middle East, India, China, Japan, and Russia. So that could be one reason. Second is a heightened tensions between these economies. When there is heightened tensions, these economies are trying to pull down each other's assets. For example, TikTok, which is big in contention, right? There is heightened tensions on protecting your IPs between these economies. So in this kind of turbulent situations, the opportunity I'm going to talk about is the growing perennial secular growth story, which is cybersecurity. Stephens has put out a report out there on cybersecurity calling this secular theme, and they predict the total addressable market of cybersecurity to double or more than double from today's $116 billion to go up to $250 billion. That's a phenomenal growth. That's a CAGR of 21%, compounded annual growth rate of 21%, which is the security industry itself is growing. Now, this is a vast arena. You have cybersecurity that, span from your data security, cloud security, network security, checkpoint, firewalls. Then you have your application security, endpoint security, and internet traffic security, devices security, and on and on and on, right? So, and different gamut of products out there protecting these, areas of cybersecurity. With heightened focus on cybersecurity, because of this warfare or the tense situation that's out there prevailing, I'm going to delve into one such monopolistic product out there, which is in cybersecurity arena. And I'm going to talk about a company which is literally a monopoly that controls 25 to 30% of global internet traffic and protects your devices and networks from vulnerability attacks and bot-based, AI-based attacks consistently day after day. Trillions of attacks that is happening every day are protected by this company's products. And I'm going to talk about Cloudflare. Cloudflare is literally the leader and monopoly when it comes to the internet traffic and edge computing and edge AI security. Cloudflare is an enabler of edge computing, has been in the last decade. And with more and more computing happening closer to the devices, what is edge computing and what is edge AI? Let me put it in a layman's term. Edge computing has been prevalent with more and more people accessing your internet data, videos, content, everything through your phones and through your laptops. And even today, with the world moving more towards the endpoint devices like, the cars, even communicating between each other, the cars becoming autonomous and the internet access being happening right there, more and more data is moving to the devices, and that devices needs lower latency when it becomes no lower network communication, to put in simple terms. So it's more and more going towards the edge. That is, edge is nothing but your devices closer to the devices. So when you need the data closer to the devices where the data is accessed, you need servers right there, not on the cloud, centralized, and we need more decentralized access or more distributed access. So with that's nothing but edge computing, to put in simple layman's term. I could try. And Cloudflare is one of the enabler, but at the same time, Cloudflare is the largest security player out there, protecting your devices and the internet websites from multiple types of attacks. What are the types of attacks that can happen on edge? With AI, with rapid adoption of AI by enterprises and sovereign economies, as I said, what's happening is AI is also on the other side, on the negative side, they are continuously enabling the trillions of attacks on the websites and on the devices. It's constantly under threat. And Cloudflare is sitting out there near to your devices with servers. They have put servers across the different data centers in 300 cities globally. The NVIDIA GB servers has been put across these data centers, and Cloudflare is enabling edge AI and edge security. Now, AI is large language models that has got two parts to it, right? You have training that's happening on the hyperscalers. That's why hyperscalers like the AWS, your Google Cloud, your Microsoft Azure has all put out the servers out there, right? And CapEx out there. They are putting the NVIDIA computation to train these models, and including the Chinese Alibaba, Tencent, are all putting the data centers out there and CapEx out there and training large language models and continuously releasing these large language models like your OpenAI, like your DeepSeek. Now, training is one part to it. That has to be done closer or centralized on your cloud servers. But when it comes to inferencing, it's better because if the inferencing is distributed. What do I mean by distributed? It requires more moving towards the edge or more moving towards the devices or the endpoints where it is accessed, where the data is closer to the data is being sourced or accessed. So it demands edge AI, that is the large language models being distributed into models that can be run on standalone basis. I would put it kind of an offline mode on your devices. So what happens? Why this edge AI? There are 4 benefits out of it. 1, edge AI does not require frequent network communication, so low bandwidth and low latency, because there is no frequent network communication. It is happening, the models are running literally on your devices. It could be a phone, it could be a car, it could be any device that's out there. Now, it could be even your data centers or your enterprises which are on-premise, that's closer to the data center. So it reduces the bandwidth, it reduces latency. It reduces the amount of data that is required to be transmitted between the servers, because there is no centralized communication. So when that happens, the computation cost reduces rapidly, big time, right? So that is a big advantage, because inferencing is compute intensive and data intensive and cost prohibitive. So all these are addressed by moving towards edge AI. And then the final thing is the security. So when your devices are processing it, there is no need to transmit data, and the data is not getting stored anywhere. It's primarily accessed in your devices. But that demands your devices to be protected more, which creates the impetus towards a need to adopt Cloudflare products. Cloudflare, as I said, is a monopoly, and Cloudflare is putting out their large computing servers closer to the devices, and that's what Edge enabled Netflix to stream. Without streaming, it could just watch movies, or your phones to access contents in YouTube, etc., etc. So with Edge AI, it is going to adopt large language models in a similar fashion. So with that said, Cloudflare is actually enabling literally the edge AI. Cloudflare has something called as Workers AI. It's their AI product, which is nothing but the foundation of Cloudflare's AI revolution. That's nothing but a serverless computing platform, which is well suited to run AI workloads on your devices. And training can happen far away, but the inferencing will happen more closer to the devices. And Cloudflare is enabling through their Workers AI. There could be millions of Workers AI literally closer to the devices in the future. Now, Cloudflare also has seen rapid increase. You can see it on the screen. The number of requests, generative AI customers that are onboarded to Cloudflare from December 2024 or late 2024 to early 2025, just in 3 to 4 months, it's a 3.3 times increase. That is 234% increase of requests for generative AI website just in last 5-6 months. And the customers have onboarded Cloudflare because of this generative AI request to make a medium through or a channelized it through the Cloudflare. It is the number of requests has increased tremendously. You can see it on the screen. This is what I'm calling as a big trillion opportunity ahead of us. Now you can see over the last 13 months from Feb 1, 2024, March 1, 2025, Cloudflare blocked 197 billion requests as potential attacks. Of that, 39 billion requests were part of distributed denial of service attacks targeting generative AI website. This is what I'm talking about, friends. So you can see, right, it was this zero request that was part of DDoS request or denial of service, that is distributed denial of service, as part of AI, generative AI request just 1 year back. And it has increased immensely in the last 1 year, and it's roughly now 20 to 25% of the total denial of service request is pertaining to generative AI websites. And this could become potentially, take this, 75% of the denial of service attacks the next 5 years. 5 years from now, that is 2030, could be targeting generative AI websites and devices. So it is even more emphasizing the need for Cloudflare. Now, these are key takeaways, based on the AI trends. You need to understand where the AI is headed, right? So the Cloudflare publishes report because they have the access to all the internet traffic out there. Based on the traffic, the reports shows that ChatGPT maintains the number one spot in generative AI popularity. The number of requests that is coming through Cloudflare, ChatGPT is at the hem, hovering around 50 internet domains overall, and rapid traffic growth is seen across generative AI services. As I said, 250% is the growth year on year between Feb 24 to March 2025. Now there are new entrants on the rise, which is increasing exponentially as well. So that is growing more than 100%. The number of models itself. DeepSeek, for case in point, right? So Chinese chatbot DeepSeek and Grok based XAI has quickly climbed the ranks. It's getting into the top 5 and illustrating how fast the newcomers are disrupting the existing incumbent players out there, right, in the generative AI space. Now, global reach is expanding. It's not just US. As I said, it's US, Middle East, who is putting out trillions out there. Then there is China, there is India, there is Japan, who are all adopting AI models, right? And then the cyber attacks is also increasing exponentially. As I said, there were 197 billion attacks. This 200 billion attacks around approximately could touch a 1 trillion number of attacks on denial of service, and out of which at least 25 to 40% could be distributed denial of services targeting the generative AI websites. So that's a case in point I wanted to delve into, and Cloudflare is a clear leader out there. There is no distant competitor I can think of, where Fastly is one, but into edge computing and all, but I don't see anybody who's there in the security arena. So I wanted to talk about this particular topic today in the podcast. Trust this was helpful. Signing off, Sandeep Anand.